Some big news coming out of Eugene Thursday morning. Prominent Oregon alumni are launching a new company called Division Street to create NIL opportunities for University of Oregon student athletes. A press release that came out this morning had a little bit more specifics that we can bring in here to give this more context. The release goes on to say about Division Street being a sport venture that will supercharge name, image, and likeness opportunities for University of Oregon athletes. The company seeks to help student athletes create and monetize their brands in a way that enables them to focus on the two most important parts of their collegiate journey: academics and sport. This is huge. I think that a lot of people saw this coming for a while, maybe not this specifically, but you knew Oregon had to have something in store. You're one of the most recognizable brands in college sport. And this is just taking it to a whole nother level. And there's a bunch of big names at play here, chief among them being Nike co-founder Phil Knight. And then we also have Pat Kilkenny. He's going to be involved as well. Some other big names to be aware of here. The release goes on to mention Rosemary St. Clair, former vice president and general manager of Nike Women. She's going to be serving as the CEO, as well as Rudy Chapa, the former vice president of sports marketing at Nike, and he's going to be the chairman of the board. And, this is really an all-star team that we're seeing assembled here in Eugene to take the student athlete experience to a whole nother level, like I was saying. And one part that really makes this so interesting is that you're seeing other, big figures come in. We have some athletes that I want to get to here in a second, and then you're seeing some other companies that are partnering with Division Street to make this thing happen. And one of those companies is called Adopt, a minority-owned brand and creative company that's focused on athletes and sport, which was recently founded by Clutch Sports Group founder and CEO Rich Paul. Rich Paul is a huge name in the professional sports space, a big name in the sports agency kind of field. He's associated with guys like LeBron James, one of the most prominent basketball players, if not the most prominent basketball player, in the world right now. He's an absolute legend, and it's huge that the Ducks are able to bring Rich Paul and some of his ventures into play here to help get this thing going and just bring in that experience. And then former athletes. I talked about some big former athletes that are going to be involved here. I think the biggest one is Sabrina Ionescu, the former number 1 overall draft pick of the WNBA. She is going to be serving as the chief athlete officer of the company, and she's going to be doing things like holding quarterly seminars with Oregon students to make sure that their voices are heard, and that they're at the center of this venture. So I think that's awesome, just because you think about how everything transpired with the timing of NIL and then the end of Ionescu's Oregon career. She was the best college basketball player in the country, just absolutely shattering records left and right. And everybody, knows who she is. But as far as the timing, you got to think if she was at Oregon when all this NIL stuff rolled out, she would have just totally cashed out and just been in a great spot to make some really big deals. And, Eugene, she's a huge part of the Eugene community. All the Oregon fans love her. And she's in the pros now, so she knows what that student athlete experience is like. So I think that is huge and cannot be overstated enough. And then another big former Oregon athlete that's going to be added into this team is Garen Strong. He's a former Oregon wide receiver and Jordan brand executive. So you're seeing other brands at play here, but obviously it's all coming back to Nike at the end of the day. So now that we kind of got the straight news piece out of it, I kind of just want to take a step back for a second, just give some instant reactions to this news and kind of what it means for Oregon. You look at Oregon, like I said, they were a national brand. They were already, what's so cool about Oregon is that they're at a high level in almost every sport. Football, I feel like, is the most recognizable for them, right up there with track. And then you also have basketball. They have really good men's and women's basketball teams consistently going into the NCAA tournament. Consecutive Sweet 16s for the women now in the past couple of NCAA tournaments. So they're doing really well. I think they're going to be really, really stacked this year. Definitely a young team in 2020. Everything going on with the pandemic and losing the stars like Ionescu, that's not going to make for a smooth transition at most places. But I think that Kelly Graves is going to have that team really ready to go this season. And then Dana Altman, my God, this guy is just popping off on the recruiting trail. You look at he just got a recent 2021 edition from Canada. I think that's a really big name that you just see all these guys that I feel like they're just gravitating towards Dana because he's a proven winner. And the thing that really shocks me about Altman is that it seems like he kind of just is doing his thing, lurking behind the scenes, and then he just flips a switch, and then just everything starts popping off on the recruiting trail. 2022, you're looking a little bit ahead. You got one of the top players in the country, point guard Dior Johnson, running the show in that 2022 class. He's a huge name that is verbally committed to Oregon right now. He's a guy who had multiple professional opportunities because he's just at such a high level. And then you also have 7-foot big man Kalel Ware out of Arkansas, 5-star center. Just pairing those two together is going to make sure that this team keeps getting high level talent, top tier recruits to take them to the next level, and make sure that they just stay among the elite. And then baseball, throw that out there too. Eugene hosted a regional last year because the men's baseball team was just absolutely killing it. And they went toe to toe against LSU. That was one of the games that I got to cover. Ultimately, they came up short, but Mark Waz, he's got that program going in the right direction, and you just see excellence across a variety of sports. And you have that, and then you bring in NIL. It just shows you why Oregon is one of the programs that was best positioned and is even in better position now to really just explode and benefit from name, image, and likeness, with that Nike connection, with the brands at play here, the design, the social media presence. It's just all coming into play here for Oregon at just the right time. The football team is reaching new heights right now. Number 3 in the country, got that big upset win over Ohio State. So certainly feels like a golden age here in Eugene across a variety of Oregon sports, and it doesn't look like there's any signs of them slowing down. So that's all the thoughts I had for this one. Kindly ask that you subscribe to the channel and show your support. It only takes a second. It's free, and it allows me to keep doing my thing here, talking about the Ducks, bringing you that Oregon content that you love. So that's all I have for this one, and we'll see you in the next one.